Well, Dan, you've got a really interesting demo on the stand here at MWC around agentic RAN management, and I want to get into that a little bit, but before we start, can you help us draw the distinction between traditional RAN automation and agentic RAN management?
I think that's a great question. I think that traditional RAN automation is based about bringing the algorithms, but then having the engineers operating and attending to that. What we're trying to do today is to drive a significant change with the introduction of agentic AI. The key aspect here is to build an end-to-end learning system that is able to operate completely autonomously. To do that, we're essentially using all the existing assets, all the existing algorithms, and essentially augmenting this with intelligence that is able to operate and attend to the network in a completely autonomous fashion.
Okay, so this is a closed loop system, right? Can you take us through the agentic workflow that you're showing here?
Yeah, absolutely. So first thing start with monitoring the network, and this is identifying what are the problems of the network. We're combining the asset of both connecting to the network itself, as well as monitoring the actual user experience from a device standpoint. We merge those two, and there is an agent that his whole role in life is essentially looking at the network and identifying problems. Once those problems have been identified and classified, that will pass to a second layer, a session that will be able to notify and create a chain of events that essentially will lead to the end-to-end closed-loop autonomous cycle. And that will involve a number of agents. Each agent have a very certain role in this ecosystem with its own context. To supervise all that, we have an agent that is essentially overseeing the entire cycle and is able to break reasoning, and is able to plan, and is able to execute and supervise the plan. And most importantly, as this is an evolution, we have built entry point for human in the loop in different cycles of the chain. And this is very important to get the safety and the gradual growth into that.
And so from the perspective of an operator, I mean, this has wide-ranging benefits that kind of touch everything from network quality, uptime, but OpEx. But lay out the benefits that you think really are the most important.
There's a couple of interesting components that we introduced, but if you look at it, there's two main aspects. One is driving customer experience, especially focused on an area that was very hard for carrier to handle today. Okay, and this is done by a unique combination of both the network view, but the introduction of the customer center to do that we're bringing into the leaks. And second, and a very important one, is network grows as the operation of the network grows. OpEx is being a key part in our carrier ability to continuously drive the business forward. We're targeting OpEx here up to 40% reduction. So our vision, when the network going to reach to the autonomous level that we're expecting to get to, we'll be able to operate the network in a 40% lower OpEx cost for the carrier. And that's the key benefits we're targeting. The key components to enable this is the layer of autonomous agents, but it's very important to understand those will not operate without the tools that we're building into this. So we're investing heavily in creating a digital twin, which will be as the guardrail for AI, and the ability to train AI models that will be able to predict how the network configuration going to manifest, and the tailoring of the user experience to validate that those actions are actually creating the positive benefits that we're looking to get from the network.
So network automation is not a new priority for operators. It's something that's been discussed and deployed for some time, but what you've described here, this is very different. This sounds like this really sets us on the course towards 6G, where we kind of think of autonomous networking as table stakes, right?
Yeah. And this is almost like an obvious evolution, right? So a lot of these concepts are now being discussed in the context of 6G. Our approach is we're working towards 6G, and within the Qualcomm framework, we have all the knowledge and exposure to build for 6G starting today. However, we're building those capabilities into the 5G network. So what we're building today, what we're showcasing here in the show is targeted to operate through 5G, LTE, and will be 6G ready when 6G rollout gonna start.
Great stuff, Dan. I really appreciate you laying out what you're doing with Agentic Management.
Thank you very much.